This review has been approved by Lord Carnage. Banished from Earth Classic Game Room broadcasts from the Intergalactic Space Arcade on its never-ending mission to review everything. Welcome to a special Classic Game Room for the review of the Sega Genesis CDX game system that plays both Sega Genesis games and Sega CD. It also works with the 32X. Let's check out this miracle of science and technology, the CDX. There's numerous Sega Genesis or Sega Mega Drive models to choose from, but this is the first one I've used which combines Sega CD and Sega Genesis into one compact game system. You plug your Sega Genesis games like Truxton into these slots on top and your Sega CD games or audio CDs into the CDX disk drive. You can't live without it! Unless you already have a Sega Genesis and Sega CD combo, in which case you can, because this does the same thing that those two things do together. But this one is, I guess, technically portable and does it using a whole lot less space. Also, it's generally more expensive, but it's compact and it feels pretty good. It feels a lot less kludgy than the old Sega CD adapter, but, you know, for what it's worth, I have one that thing still works. But wait, there's more. While I don't think it says this anywhere, it is compatible with the Sega 32X adapter and uses the Model 2 AV cables and power supply. The Sega CDX is pretty cool, but that coolness comes at a price. You can easily find Sega Genesises or Mega Drives out there for cheap, and most of the Sega CD units out there aren't overpriced either, but if you have the money and you're looking to get into this stuff and play all of the Sega CD games in particular, you may want to keep an eye on the CDX. The Sega CDX plays Truxton and Sylpheed on one game system, which makes it about the best game system ever created. This is true, it's really good, and there's a lot of great Sega CD games out there that you won't find on anything else. Did I mention it also plays Truxton? Another day, another game of Truxton, this time being played on the Sega CDX. Bring it! Audio and video quality are excellent. As expected, it delivers stereo and a sharp, colorful picture, as you can see. It also works with your collection of Sega Genesis controllers and gamepads. But if you're only interested in playing Mega Drive games or Genesis games, may I suggest the more affordable Sega Genesis or Mega Drive Model 1. It's when you want to step it up to Sega CD games like Sylpheed or Dark Wizard that you should step it up to the CDX. Woo! I am invincible! I like it, but I also don't need it because I have a modded Genesis Model 1 with a Sega CD that's working just fine. So thanks to Greg from Classic Game Room for loaning this to me for a few days. The fit and finish are great, it's a cool compact design, and if you're not interested in hunting down a functioning Sega CD unit, just buy this thing, if you can. Whoa, not cool. People frequently talk about the bad Sega CD games. Well, there's also a lot of good ones, and this is a convenient and fun way to enjoy them, the Sega CDX. Also known as the Sega Multi-Mega in other parts of the world. If you're a Sega collector and you own things like the Nomad, well, you'll probably want one of these too, but if you're looking to play Sega Genesis and Sega CD and save a few bucks, may I recommend just buying each piece separately. Sadly, it doesn't play Famicom, but that's alright. The Genesis and Sega CD library should keep you busy for quite some time. Sega CDX. That's how it's done in Truxton, son. Or Sylpheed. Like, they're both great games. You really can't go wrong with either.